Where's north from here?
Alreet Trainers, I'm some northern guy. The hype train of Pokémon Sword and Pokémon Shield is in full swing right now. There are countless theories and analysis videos all over YouTube, and it's no different here. Today I want to look at the Galar region starter Pokemon, Grookey, Scorbunny and Sobble. First of all, I love these guys, I think they look great. Personally speaking, Sobble is my favourite, and he's the favourite of my wife as well. And Scorbunny is my least favourite, with Grookey closer to Sobble than Scorbunny, but honestly, they are all brilliant. People have been trying to figure out what these little dudes are based on since the reveal trailer. Now, for those who haven't realised it yet, every set of starter Pokemon are designed around a theme, or at least the more recent ones have been. For example, the Gen 5 starters are based around Chinese royalty, the Gen 6 starters are based off different classes in RPGs, and the Gen 7 starters are based off a circus. So far, it's widely believed that the Gen 8 starters are based on sport. Grookey is cricket, Scorbunny is football, and Sobble is water polo. However, I have a different theory in mind. With the Galar region being based on the UK, I think the starters represent the best of British. Scorbunny is definitely based off a footballer and represents sport in general. Sport is a big deal in the UK. I mean, we invented football for God's sake. That's soccer for you American viewers. And to be fair, we're not exactly good at it anymore, but still. Football's coming on one day, lads. Hang in there. It's not just footy though, there are loads of popular sports in the UK like rugby, cricket, tennis and athletics to name a few. So if Scorbunny represents sport in general, where does that leave Grookey and Sobble? Well, I think Grookey is based on music. The British music scene is huge. Some of the biggest and most influential artists who have ever lived have come from the UK. The likes of Queen, the Beatles, David Bowie, Pink Floyd, the Rolling Stones, Oasis, and more recently artists like Ed Sheeran, One Direction, Little Mix, Rag and Bowman, Anne-Marie. I could be here all day. Relating that back to Grookey, his little stick isn't a weapon or a cricket bat, it's a conductor's baton. The way he hits it against the rock in the trailer is like a metronome or a conductor conducting an orchestra. And I really hope this turns out to be accurate because that is a brilliant concept for a Pokemon. And finally we have Sobble. I'll admit this one is really tricky, and I'm not as confident in my theory for Sobble as I am for Scorbunny and Grookey. I've been trying to think what other big thing there is in the UK besides sport and music. There's the royal family, and I guess you could argue the fin on its head is like a crown, but we've already had Pokemon based on royalty, and more to the point, the British royals are very much public figures. Sobble clearly likes to keep out of sight. So what I've come up with is literature. It's a huge part of the British culture. You've got the entire works of William Shakespeare studied and enjoyed all over the world. You've got your murder mysteries by Agatha Christie, the period dramas of old by the legendary Jane Austen, and more recently things like J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter, countless incredible children's stories, and more to the point of what I'm getting at here, the gentleman spy novels, the most famous being James Bond by Ian Fleming. Yes, they were books before they were films. I think Sobble represents British literature in the form of a super spy. It doesn't like to be seen, it hides in plain sight with its camouflage abilities, and even its bio on the Sword and Shield website says it attacks while remaining out of sight. When Grookey scares Sobble in the trailer, yes it runs and hides up a tree because it's timid, but maybe it also didn't want its cover to be blown. And after all, it only reveals itself after Scorbunny has left the scene. I'll admit, Sobble being based off a spy is clutching at straws, but I think this makes sense. Now we'll have to see how their evolutions turn out, but at this present time, I think the starters are based off and represent the best of British sport, music, and literature. So what about their typings upon evolution? I highly doubt they're going to stay monotype, as from Gen 6 onwards, every starter has had a secondary type upon fully evolving. The question is figuring out what types go with my proposed themes for the starters. I've seen a lot of people say Scorbunny will become a fire electric type. I don't know if this is because of the Duracell bunny, but hey, it makes sense. Footballers are fast and typically electricity is used to represent speed. Just look at the Flash from DC Comics. I originally said firefighting when I first saw it, but the more I think about it, the more fire electric just makes sense, and I've got to agree with it. anything to not have fire fighting for a 4th time. The problem is, Pikachu is technically a starter and electric is the 4th elemental type after grass, fire and water. So it's unlikely electric would be a starter Pokemon's secondary type. Another possibility could be ground, purely because it's a rabbit, but also because sports like football and rugby can lead to people getting very muddy. If Grookey does represent music, then the only type I can think of that would fit it is grass and fairy. Fairy type Pokemon just seem very musical and upbeat, so I think Fairy type would suit a musical Pokemon perfectly. Just look at the likes of Jigglypuff and Primarina. And once again, Sobble becomes the most difficult to work out. If it is representing literature by being based off a super spy, then an obvious choice would be water fighting, because let's be honest, James Bond can hold his own in a fight. We've also never seen a water fighting starter, so that would be interesting. Another option could be Water Ghost, as it likes to hide in the shadows and not be seen. But I think the best type for Sobble, and probably the most obvious, is Water Poison. It's a lizard, so poison makes sense, but also spies are supposed to dispatch of their enemies silently and discreetly so they aren't discovered, and then going guns blazing when their cover is blown. Poison would obviously be an effective way to do this. So, Fire Electric or Fire Ground, Grass Fairy, and Water Poison. Those are some pretty interesting type combos if I do say so myself. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments and join the discussion over on Twitter. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe and share this video with a friend. Click that notification bell to make sure you never miss a video, and you can also follow me on these social media platforms. I'll see you all in the next video, but until then, keep training and have a good one. See you later.